continue to work hard, and today we're doing even more to uphold the law and to go after those who are trafficking these children. We're not going to allow this to stand in the state of Florida. And just think of what we've done. What is our stand on sexual exploitation of minors? We've authorized the death penalty for pedophiles, and that's something that is absolutely appropriate.
Welcome to Unsanctioned.
Ever thought that an attorney general? What are you? Hey, what are you gonna do?
Get the fuck! Don't video me.
What are you gonna do?
You little shit! Don't video me.
That's assault.
You do not
that's
video.
Assault. You just
do not video me.
Wow is right. That's certainly not what I was expecting while I was attending the fundraiser for a district straight attorney.
Yeah.
So I went, and here's what we're going to talk about this tonight. Okay, there's a whole big story about how this happened, what led up to it. We're going to talk about that. We have a whole show prepared for you, though. We don't want to not do justice to what we do here every week, so we want to make sure that we go through the show. Let's do what we had planned to do, and then we're going to talk in depth about this crazy altercation that happened this morning. That disgraced former state rep, who is like basically the root of all. This is purely speculation.
He is the root of all evil in Osceola County. He truly is.
Yeah, many people suspect this. Is that it's like by his hand, he single-handedly monetized the suffering of the people of Osceola County. Yeah. And so, he's kind of upset with me because we've talked about him. We've tried to expose what's going on, and then, boom, this happened. So we're going to talk about that tonight. But first we're going to pray, then we're going to do the show, and then we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of that altercation this morning. Okay, so, Lord, doesn't matter what happens, we are always grateful to have you watching over us, protecting us, and I absolutely felt protected this morning, having you watch over us. And we know that one of the reasons that you watch over us is because this is a faithful country. This country was founded by men who had faith in you, men who modeled the Constitution after the Bible. It's the most quoted piece in all of their writings, the Bible. And that's why this country is so special, because we know it's dedicated to you. It's to you that we owe our rights and our liberties, not to a government, and not to lobbyists, and not to corrupt people. We owe our rights, our freedoms, we owe gratitude for them to you and to you alone. And for that, we are eternally grateful. Watch over this country. Start to rise up some leaders that will hold down the values that our country was built on, so that in 250 years, another 250 years, this country will be equally as great as it has been in the past. In your son's name, Jesus Christ, amen.
Amen.
So please like and share the show while you have a minute. I know that a lot of the people who are watching, they're watching for the specific reasons of this altercation. But like I said, we do a lot of work. We put in a lot of love into the show. Let's get through the stories. These are important things to talk about anyways. And then we'll spend as much time as you want talking about this. Shoot your questions. Make your comments. I'll try to pay attention to the chat as much as possible. And like and share. Okay, so thank you. God bless you. Thank you for joining us. This is Unsanctioned Florida. And this is... Sorry, I was in the wrong place here.
Number 16.
Number 16. So episode 16, May 17, 2024. So thank you for joining us on Unsanctioned Florida. Let's just get into it. Let's just go right to it.
All right, so state of Florida, John, we're going to start out with Corey Mills. You know, it was very interesting earlier this week. He was in New York City with Byron Donalds and Vivek. They were up there to support President Trump in that phony sham trial that's going on.
Yep.
And then, Corey Mills goes and does this. He has filed articles of impeachment against Joe Biden. And if you're wondering why, here's a little video to explain it right now.
Who calls that a quid pro quo. And hours ago, he filed an article of impeachment against the president. The White House says it is acting consistently with the law. He's a member of the House Armed Services Committee and an Army combat veteran. Congressman Mills, good to have you with us today. Thanks for being here. So obviously, that's a major step. It remains to be seen how much support there will be for it. But just in terms of what you put out there, explain what you believe is the quid pro quo argument in this impeachment article.
Well, it's really no different. If you go back to what President Biden had tweeted out previously, he said that withholding congressionally appropriated aid for a return of a political gain is in some way a quid pro quo, and that President Trump should be impeached with regards to Ukraine. Now, I'm going to go ahead and preface this by saying 98% of the language that is in my impeachment articles was actually drafted by Representative Jerry Nadler, who I hope will support this, given the fact that they set the precedents with their own words. But the reality is that when you're trying to withhold humanitarian or any type of congressional appropriated aid for the purpose of political gain, which he does look at political gain because he wants to win Michigan, he wants to pander to the radical left. And think about what he's done here. He utilized and pulled the wool over our eyes. He released aid to go into Gaza, which fell into the hands of Hamas. He withholds aid to Israel and its ability for defense and to take out Hamas from their radical extremism that's going on. And a day prior to this, Martha, a day prior, he signs a waiver to bypass sanctions, to send weapons to Lebanon and to send it to Qatar, two of the most anti-Israeli nations. And not to mention that Lebanon has been actually launching attacks with Hezbollah from Hassan Nasrallah. So this is a clear violation. He has multiple that he has committed. One is a take care clause that he violated with not enforcing the border laws that are down there. The other is the separation of power that he violated when he continued to supersede what SCOTUS's ruling was with regards to funding for the college bailout. And now with the quid pro quo, it should be quid pro Joe.
That's pretty beyond the catchiness of Corey Mills' statements there. This is a good guy. He's fighting. He's fighting. He's trying to do the things that he needs to do to follow through on his promises to the country. And he's doing that, and this is a good thing. I don't think that there's many people in the world that question the fact that he should be impeached, right? There's plenty of reasons for Joe Biden to be impeached, right? But this is one of them, and what he's doing, the genius of this, is that he's taking the impeachment that they made against Trump, and he's basically putting it against the Democrats. So if it's their language that they wrote, they wrote this language, then they should support the impeachment, right? Of course, they're going to say it doesn't apply to him because obviously crimes don't stick to Democrats very well. But I mean, if you're a Democrat, you can literally run a car into a river and let someone die while you're having an affair. I mean, that's like the MO for Dems.
Ted
right?
Kennedy.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, you can even get away with that. So I like him. I like Corey Mills a lot. I think he's doing the right thing. He's fighting there. You know, you don't have to agree with everything that Corey Mills does, but it's hard to agree with him on anything. I don't think I've ever disagreed with him. Maybe I would have wished he would have done A or B or whatever, but by and large, great congressman, doing the right thing. He's definitely one of the ones that should be kept in the House of Representatives.
Absolutely, John. You know, some states, they have one great congressman or one good congressman. Some
Yeah,
have
we're
zero.
being picky and choosy, right?
Some have zero. We in the state of Florida are very blessed to have multiple great congressmen, great MAGA Republicans that stand by Trump, that get things done, and Corey Mills is one of them for sure.
Yep.
All right, so moving on from there. The mayor of Jacksonville, John, tens of thousands of dollars in football tickets highlight
of gifts.
Democrat Donna Deegan's gift disclosures and
$10,000 of gifts.
Yeah, tens of thousands of dollars. So.
I mean, come on. That's a lot of football tickets.
Absolutely.
Or it's like super luxury football tickets, right?
Yeah, and if you don't know who the man in this picture is, that is Shad Khan. Shad Khan is the owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. He's a very, very extremely wealthy guy. He owns the Jacksonville Jaguars. His son, Tony Khan, owns AEW Wrestling, which is the number 2 wrestling promotion in the United States behind WWE. It is also the only wrestling promotion in the United States to have a transgender wrestler.
I bet you that dude always loses. Is it a guy? Is it a guy pretending that he's a woman, or a woman pretending they're a man?
Absolutely, it's a guy that's dressed as a woman, and
Oh my God! So let me guess. Has he lost any bouts? Is he not the champion?
He's not a champion.
Oh, give me. Okay, so if you ever, there's the people you always. We used to have these arguments as kids. Is wrestling fake or is it real? I used to have a friend that used to swear that it was real.
Yeah.
And well, there you go. Now you know it's fake.
I think it's it's a athletic entertainment.
Yeah.
It's choreographed fighting. So I mean, it is what it is. I mean, when I was a kid, I watched it. Hulk Hogan and
Yep.
Macho Man and all them.
Well, this guy's definitely not Macho Man.
No, not at all, not at all.
This trans wrestler's about the opposite of Macho Man.
Absolutely.
He's anti-Macho Man.
I'll have to pull a picture for the next show.
Yeah,
but,
don't bother.
Jacksonville Stadium renovations proposal is expected to be unveiled this month.
Wait a second.
And they
wait a second. Who's paying for these tax renovations?
The citizens are.
The citizens
Taxpayers
are paying for the
are paying
renovations?
for it. The city of Jacksonville is paying for half of it. All right, but it's supposed to be. I think they said $2.1 billion renovation.
$2.1 billion. Wow.
But, the mayor there, Donna Deegan, and her city employees have spent plenty of time at the facility since 2023. Form 9 reports filed with the Florida Commission on Ethics in December of 2023 and March of 2024 reveal more than $37,500 through the mayor's office in tickets and suite usage, parking passes, and food for Jaguars games last season, and the Georgia-Florida neutral site contest held in October of last year. So I guess she likes to frequent this place quite a bit. It's not unusual for public officials to get tickets and other comped items at Jaguars games and other events in taxpayer-funded facilities, but the Form 9s reveal the aggregate value of these perks is considerable over the course of just 6 months in office.
Yeah, she just got elected.
Of the $18,436 in gifts from the city of Jacksonville to the mayor's office for Jaguar games, included were 6 $140 tickets to an August 26th preseason game, along with 3 parking passes at $35 each, and $1,165 in food at that contest, which would come out to nearly $200 per attendee if the accounting is accurate.
Wait, so they spent thousands of dollars on food. 6 people, 6,000, almost $1,500 in food.
Yeah.
Oh, $1,100 in food, $1,200 in food.
Yeah.
I mean,
they've been busy.
How much are they charging for hot dogs over there?
Probably quite a bit. The biggest tranche of Jaguars-related gifts was 96 season tickets for games on September 17th, September 24th, October 15th, November 12th, November 19th, December 4th, and December 17th and December 31st at $140 each. That comes out to $13,440. Seems that the mayor of Jacksonville likes to give these out as gifts and stuff like that. And she has a more than comfortable relationship with Mr. Shad Khan there. And it reminds me of a local situation we have in St. Cloud with a very wealthy man from the Middle East that can do no wrong in St. Cloud, despite not finishing that hotel that's been under construction for 7 years now, I think. 7 years?
Yeah, it's a long time.
Yeah, so...
Well, when you got money, throw money around, especially politicians who the only thing they care about is getting those campaign contributions.
Yeah, absolutely. And it seems like Ms. Deegan there is taking her fill of those. So, very interesting. headline here, John. Florida GOP removes St. John's GOP chair for multiple grievances and failure of leadership, or at least that's what they're saying, all right? And that's the guy. His name is Blake Paterson. In a letter sent to Republican Party of Florida Chairman Evan Power on March 13th, Grievance Committee Chairman Mark Cross, and that is the Mark Cross that you know here, he is the Kissimmee REC chair, explained the committee's recommendations to remove Paterson after considering grievances filed against the chairman. On the same day, Power sent an email to Paterson informing him of his removal effective immediately. You are hereby removed as chairman and as precinct committeeman of the St. Johns County Republican Executive Committee, Power wrote. I'm wondering if he was an FRA member.
I wonder. That's
Yeah.
a great question.
The two grievances against Paterson that Cross included in the letter from County Commissioner and former REC Chairman Roy Alamo and Vice Chair of St. Johns County REC Jamie Parham included the following allegations against Paterson. And where are those allegations? There they are. Authorizing the misuse of the St. John's REC social media to disparage Republican elected officials and promote and support their opponents without an endorsement of the REC and in violation of RPOF rules. So I'm wondering if he was calling out rhinos. Authorizing the spontaneous suspension of the St. John's REC vice chairman, which was Parham, and imposing disciplinary actions against the vice chairman in conflict with RPOF rules as interpreted by the RPOF rules committee in an advisory opinion. I mean, are there a list of rules anywhere? I mean, it's
Well,
not hard to find.
Let's talk about Osceola County for a second.
Yeah.
In this thing. All right. Is there more? Do you have more to this story?
Well, there's just the following comments that were made by Mark Cross, and
Okay, so let's check them out.
He wrote in the letter that the grievances were only the tip of the iceberg regarding the problems in the county's Republican Executive Committee and the inability of Mr. Paterson to adequately perform his role as chairman.
Okay.
All right, yeah, we definitely need to talk about Osceola County here, John.
Okay, so I don't know the background of this story, right? We didn't call any contacts out there in St. John's. This is near, south of St. Augustine. We didn't reach out to people. We didn't investigate this story too much. We didn't go through a lot of the trouble that we could have for this. But we see a very similar story or similar complaints. The complaints that are made against him are complaints that we have had against our own party here in Osceola County.
And the man who wrote that letter.
And the man who is quoted in there is the man who's the chairman of our party here. Now let me tell you what the similarities are. Again, I don't know if they're true, not true, if these allegations are, if they're false. Maybe he was a terrible chairman. I don't know. I don't know how this guy was. I'm not commenting on his performance as a chairman of St. John's GOP. What I'm saying is that there's a lot of what he's being removed for are things that are happening here. So, number one, the Osceola County GOP has not had a meeting that I'm aware of where they had quorum since December. The last time that they had quorum was in December. We're in the month of May.
Right? Did business.
Right. Yeah, you got to do business, right? You have to have enough members so that you can actually vote and decide what you guys are going to do. We are months away from an election, right? And we're months away from the most important presidential election of our lifetime. And we have not had a single Republican meeting where they had quorum and could conduct business since December. In December, what happened? Why did people come? They brought people from the woodworks. Right? They brought people out from all kinds of. I was going to say something mean, but I don't know. Here's the thing: I don't want to be mean about the people that came out to the party. But they came out. They brought people who have never been seen before. They brought people who haven't been seen in years. They brought people who never come to these meetings. So all of a sudden, the ranks of the Republican Party of Osceola County was like 100 and something people, whatever, and normally it's not like that. They haven't had quorum since, meaning they cannot conduct business. So what's the purpose of the GOP if they're not conducting business and trying to get people elected? And by the way, just to disclose, this is the reason why the party doesn't come out and they're like, you got to vote for John, you got to vote for... Because I'm going to talk the truth regardless. right? I don't expect the party to do my race for me anyways, regardless. But they're not doing anything. They're not doing the Trump's race, right? They should be fighting Trump's battle right now, at the very least. But what are they doing besides going on social media just saying, I support Trump? They're not calling. Right now, they should be knee-deep in lists of calling and door knocking.
Yeah.
By this time in 2012, when I worked for Romney, I know, God forgive me, but when I worked for Romney in 2012, we had knocked on thousands and tens of thousands of doors already by this point.
Yeah.
So, but none of that is happening here.
They're not doing anything, John. They're not doing anything.
They're not doing anything.
The only thing that's happening is the vice chair is sharing one candidate's posts over and over and over again, and then that's it. There's nothing else happening.
Yes, so that's a great point. Go, keep going. Sorry.
No. And I appreciate what some members of that group do, because the women's crusaders, they actually do work. They get out there and do things. But I have not seen the REC itself in Osceola County do much of anything at all. And now, leading up to the most important election of our lives, they're not doing anything except coming after the FRA.
Which they are doing. And let's talk about this. So we established the fact that GOP hasn't even met, right? But then the GOP gets mad that people are meeting in spite of the GOP not meeting, creating these alternate places where you can go and take part in the action of winning elections, which is the Florida Republican Assembly, the Republican Liberty Caucus, the Republican National Hispanic Assembly, and so on and so forth, right? But mostly the FRA. They came out and they attacked the FRA.
Yeah.
They didn't attack the RLC. They didn't attack the RNHA.
Singled out.
They didn't attack the Women's Federated. They attacked the FRA. They singled them out. They attacked them. Now, why is this? I don't even want to speculate why this was. Maybe we'll talk about this in the next Florida show, right? When we kind of like get some of the dust settles, and we can talk about it. But essentially, the FRA is being attacked. Now, the GOP made rules. You can't have a member of the FRA in the GOP anymore, right? They made that rule. If you are a member of the FRA, you're supposed to be removed and you don't have voting rights.
And you can't be a committeeman.
And you can't be a precinct committeeman. So the most active people, in terms of doing action to win elections, they're kicking out of the party. So is the party trying to throw the race? You have to ask us, what occurs to you? What do you think about when that happens? Is the party trying to throw the race? What's going on? So now you have them not meeting. Let's go back to Osceola County specifically, right? So they have been endorsed. The only candidates that the Osceola County Republican Party has ever endorsed that I know of is Democrats. They've endorsed two Democrats. In recent history, they endorsed Jackie Espinoza, right? And by the way, I agreed with these endorsements. I didn't have any issues with these endorsements at all, right? Because what we were trying to do is prevent the super, super liberal from getting in, right? So it's like in a nonpartisan race, help the nonpartisan person who is actually not some kind of purple-haired crazy human being, right? And in those situations, it was Jackie Espinoza, who's running for mayor now, and that was in a county commission race that they endorsed her, which was a partisan race. And then they were helping Will Fonseca, who was a great school board candidate and who made way for the current chair, who at that time was like, I think that people were seeing like Black Lives Matter stuff on her social media and stuff like that. They knew that she was bad. And she has been horrendous on the school board.
Yeah.
Right? But Will Fonseca, if he had won, he would have been great right now on the school board. Right? So they endorsed these two, but they have not endorsed a single Republican. They haven't even endorsed. We have a supervisor of election race going on here in Osceola County, which is super important because there's a Democrat supervisor of elections who violated state statute 2 election cycles in a row. He's running as a Republican. He has no competition. Nobody else is running. He does not have a primary. But they won't help him. They're waiting for him to get to qualification and make sure that nobody else jumps in the race. Why not prevent somebody else from jumping in the race? The entire party is okay with him. Everybody likes him. He's a great guy. Military service. He's a veteran. He's a smart guy. He's experienced. He has all the credentials that you would need. He's just a phenomenal fundraiser. He's working his butt off. He's doing everything that he needs to be doing. So why not support him? But they're not supporting him. Then you have like my race, for example, right? You have my race. Okay, somebody else got into the race. Okay, well, you can't support one over the other, but you can now thanks to Rule 8. But they didn't want to, support whatever. So now you have a newcomer, opposed part of the establishment that has ruined Osceola County, and that guy is going to, prevent the party from getting involved in helping and splitting hairs. Now we're going to start getting into the details. Then you have school board members. Instead of picking, helping, coalescing around school board members, now you throw in. Now, half of the Republicans that are running on the ballot, that may be on the ballot, they're not on the ballot yet, but half of the people that may qualify are people who are endorsed, associated, working with, advised by Democrats.
Yeah.
So the Republicans that they are helping, the one that you just mentioned, the school board candidate, right? There's a school board candidate who the vice chair of the Republican Party is constantly sharing and stuff. She's helping him. She's pushing for him. His campaign manager is a Democrat, and not one of like the sane ones. She's like the Democrat.
A lifelong Democrat who has always voted in every single election Democrat.
And then who are the other people that are helping him? A Democrat. Another school board member who's a Democrat who's failed to make anything happen on the school board and who votes with the woke Democrats. So Democrat, full Democrat. So.
And this was a woman who attacked you multiple times, right, John?
Yeah,
the campaign
she did.
manager?
Yeah, the campaign manager did. So when I was being a Republican and I was defending our families and I was defending our students and I was defending our teachers, this person would attack me on a constant basis for having conservative views. But now she's the Democrat of the guy who's running like a conservative. I mean, and he also used to work for the Democrat congressman, like very recently, talking about like in recent times. So all this stuff is happening. Basically, what it shows is a lack of leadership, which is one of the complaints. That we're in chaos. We can't meet. Here's another complaint. They haven't brought in any new members. So what happens? There's no new people in the Republican Party. So over the last, year or so, maybe they've brought in half a dozen people.
Yeah, but they've kicked out a bunch of people.
But they kicked out
right?
a whole bunch of people. Well, I don't know. Officially, they didn't kick them out because according to state statute, the people who were kicked out, there was no due process, which means they're not really kicked out. So all the people that they kicked out, they don't allow to be there, are not people who actually were kicked out officially, or at least according to their own rules.
Yeah.
But listen, we're going to talk about the GOP tonight during a Zoom call. If you're interested in participating and getting involved with the party and doing the right thing, and I mean literally doing the right thing, that's the qualification, doing the right thing, being a principled conservative, no drama, no BS, no woke stuff, no rhino, join us today. Send me your name. I'll send you a Zoom link. We're going to be talking about how we're going to take our party back, how we're going to work hard, how we're going to win all these local elections tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. That'll be later tonight after the show. And, Mr. Paterson there, I am interested, though, John, whether he was an FRA member because he was removed as a committeeman and as the chairman.
Yeah.
And that was two of the things that the RPOF said they were going to do to any member of the FRA. So,
which is great. So what happens? Let me put just one last thing, and then we'll move on because it's already 6:15.
Yeah.
So what happens now? An elected official, right? A state legislator is automatically a member of the REC. They're automatically a member of the Republican Party. So what if that elected official is also a member of the Florida Republican Assembly? So then what do? You can't kick them out, but you've got to kick them out according to your rules. You don't have a choice.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But I was at the GOP meeting last night in Orlando. That thing was running like a smooth machine. What a great example. I was absolutely floored by the quality of organization with which they were operating. If you ever have the chance, make sure that you go and you check out an Orange County GOP meeting.
Very interesting. All right, so Representative Bill Posey, John. We were going to talk about this on the last show, but with everything that was happening, we had special guest Lou Marin on the show last show. We kind of skipped over this story. But Bill Posey is going to retire after 16 years, saying there are circumstances beyond his control as to why he's retiring. And if you've never seen Mr. Posey, that's him right there. And you never really hear much about Bill Posey. You hear his name, but you don't really hear much about him. But the 76-year-old has held the seat for Florida's 8th Congressional District since 2008. That district stretches from Vero Beach to Titusville. He has endorsed former Florida Senate President Mike Herodopoulos, a fellow Republican who qualified to run for the seat hours before qualifying closed at noon. Very interesting, John, that he came out and just endorsed a guy who wasn't even running, basically, or just jumped in at the last minute, right?
Okay, so Bill Posey I like. I like Bill. I'm not a Bill Posey hater necessarily or anything like that. And I'm also not a hater of Mike Herodopoulos, right? He's a Senate president. I don't have any complaints about him. He's a good guy by all accounts. He's a great leader. He was a great senator. He was very smart, very strategic. He made a lot of good things happen. So I don't have anything negative to say. I'm not going to make something up that's negative about him. So both, let's just take for granted, okay, for the sake of argument, these are two excellent, perfect Republicans, okay? Here's the problem with the Republican Party. This act of anointing your secession person here, it stinks like corrupt, just to high heaven. It stinks like corruption. It is absolutely terrible. This is what you don't do. These are supposed to be representatives of the people. The people are supposed to decide. Now, people are going to say, oh, well, they're still voting for him. Yeah, but if Bill Posey had said, you know what, I'm retiring this year, have at it. The citizens are in charge of electing their leader. They didn't do that. Instead, what he did is he was like, here you go. I'm retiring. Here you go, Tom. Tom, here you go. Here's my seat. You specifically, you hold on to this. Very good, okay? This is not Miss America. This is not Miss America where the old queen takes off her crown and puts it on the next one. We don't do that here, and that's wrong. That's wrong. It's the wrong process. Now you have two great guys, two fantastic people who are staining themselves with a brush of corruption by doing this, anointing. Look how hard people fight to get elected, and that's the way it's supposed to be. I'm fighting my butt off in my race. I have fought my butt off as an elected official. You're not supposed to hand it off like this. It's not what it is. But that's what's happening here in Osceola County, right? You have like Mike Horner. What does Mike Horner do? He anoints it. He takes the holy oil and he rubs it on your forehead and he's like, okay, you're the next guy. Yep. Don't do that. Just play it straight. Don't do it. The problem is, right now we're in such a complex world. There's so many things going on that people are afraid to let go of power. And you got to trust the American people on this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Trust the American people on this.
I just found it weird that, this guy just filed and all of a sudden, Posey was like, okay, he's the one.
No. I doubt that happened. Come on. Let's not pretend. They know each other. And that's the same district. He was a Senate president. Believe me, he was already in the bullpen ready to come in.
Yeah. No, I believe it.
Yeah, so the coach called him out, and then he came out, and that's it. And they put him in the ball game, and now he's going to win because why? High-quality candidate. I have no complaints about the level of candidacy or quality of the candidacy of Mike Herodopoulos. He's super good for the job. But he doesn't need this. He would have already raised $1 kajillion as the former Senate president. He didn't need it. He didn't need to do it.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So play it straight.
All right, John. Well, there is one Orlando Trump supporter who's running for Orange County Republican State Committeeman.
Okay, this guy I do know.
Yeah, it's Randy Ross, and then there he is. Multiple pictures with President Trump. And Randy Ross, he is an Orlando Donald Trump supporter who is active in Central Florida politics. He announced his intention to run for Orange County Republican State Committeeman. And, that cool.
So I've known Randy for a long time. I have known Randy for many years. And this is a connected guy, right? He is a fundraiser for Trump. He's a guy who works hard for the party. This is somebody you don't have to convince to be a conservative. The guy's a natural conservative. He's a good guy. He's extremely intelligent. He has great instincts, right? He speaks the truth. He's very composed. He's just a good guy. He's a good guy. He's a good guy. I don't have any complaints. I don't remember. There's also another guy running for this seat, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't remember who it is. And it's basically for Pete Crotty's seat. Rich Crotty's seat, I'm sorry. Pete Crotty's his brother, but Rich Crotty, the retired Orange County mayor. And we'll see. But he's a good guy. And Orange County just has a lot of high quality people. There's a lot of people involved in the GOP there, and he's a good quality guy. I wish him well, and we'll see how this goes.
Yeah,
but this is an important seat right now with this election. This is a very important seat. Obviously, the election happens for this seat, right? You don't get in, I think, until after the election. It's going to be the election. It would actually in August. The primary is when they vote on this, and so we'll see how that goes. I'm looking forward to working with whoever wins that seat and fighting hard along with them for good things for Orange.
Yeah, absolutely. I was trying to figure something out here real quick, John. I did something and...
You broke something?
No, I didn't break anything. I'm trying to make something happen that needed to happen, but let me see if I can do
You messed it
real
up?
quick. No, it's all good.
Yes,
all
you
good.
did. No, okay. I'm kidding.
I'm trying to think if I ever met Randy Ross.
Oh, did somebody send something in here? You're trying to put this ad lib here? You're probably trying to put something in?
Well, yeah, I'm trying to add something that wasn't there before.
I gotcha.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, after I'm going to move on to the next thing then, right?
All right, yeah, we're moving
which
on.
is St. Cloud.
Yeah, well, no, not yet. We're going to stay tuned for this commercial before we go to St. Cloud and we go
okay.
to Osceola County.
My name's Laura McAdams. Good evening, school board members. My name's Laura McAdams. Hi, I'm Laura McAdams. My name's Laura McAdams. I'm a mother who advocates for kids.
Whether it was the masking of our kids or inappropriate materials in our schools, only one candidate for school board has been outspoken and fighting back for years to...
Let's start that over, okay? This important message from Laura McAdams.
My name's Laura McAdams. Good evening, school board members. My name's Laura McAdams. Hi, I'm Laura McAdams. My name's Laura McAdams. I'm a mother who advocates for kids.
Whether it was the masking of our kids or inappropriate materials in our schools, only one candidate for school board has been outspoken and fighting back for years to protect our kids. Laura wants a first-class education for every child in Osceola. She wants to ensure that our kids are in safe and secure learning environments, free from political agendas. On August 20th, elect a proven fighter who hasn't stopped fighting for our kids and never will.
This message is paid for and approved by Laura McAdams, candidate for Osceola County School Board District 5.
Come on, guys.
Come on, guys.
Come on, guys.
You know, if you hadn't had a chance to check out Laura, she is an awesome candidate. She's been fighting, for a long time, coming out to school board meetings, speaking out against the masks, all kinds of things, inappropriate materials in our schools. She's having a meet and greet this Saturday from 12 to 2 or 12 to 3, I can't remember, at Terracotta in St. Cloud. Go and check her out. Say hello. She'd love to meet you. And our first story, John, we broke the story on the last Florida show, but we didn't have the details. Now we have the details.
I just wanted to make a few comments on this. As you know, in my briefing, I had the opportunity to speak with the city manager and city attorney. I think the city manager has done an absolute wonderful job trying to get this this issue resolved in the quickest fashion possible. I think not litigating it was a mistake. I think we should have proceeded with litigation while also working on fixing the road. I think for them to settle for the amount that they settled and then walk away and have no repercussions for the work that they've done. At the last city council meeting that we talked about this, we talked about pulling the performance and payment bond, and that wasn't even looked at. And I don't like it, I don't agree with it, but this is where we're at. And if we're going to go with the asphalt, then I agree with Councilman Urban to make sure that it is 100% correct, that we get the folks that Councilwoman or Deputy Mayor Matheny had mentioned in the estimate. I mean, those things that we had discussed in the briefing, those items were not listed here yet, but I'm sure we'll get a better understanding of what that is. We do have the contingency there to work with. I'm just not happy the way that the mediation went, and I think the company should be held accountable for the complete disaster that they left our town.
Yep, and I agree 100% with that statement. The details, John, of this mediated settlement that they reached with Cathcart, that's another video. That's it right here.
The City of St. Cloud is settling a lawsuit against a construction company that renovated the roadways downtown.
And as West 2's Megan Mulatto tells us, this comes after months of construction, several delays, and impacts to business owners.
The City of St. Cloud started Phase 2 of their downtown revitalization project in the summer of 2022. Cathcart Construction was hired to add brick pavers, new sidewalks, landscaping, and lighting. The project faced several delays, and when it was finally done, the roads didn't hold up.
It's definitely disappointing, a little bit.
Many business owners, like Savannah Ty with Savvy Sweets Bakery, say they faced hardships during the construction as customers couldn't easily access their shops and restaurants. Then more hardships when the quality of the project wasn't as expected.
I feel like every time we think that we're over the hump, we're not over the hump. We're back to square one is exactly the way I would put it. We're just back to square one with them paving it, and then I am disappointed that the construction company, I feel like, maybe isn't being held as accountable as they should.
The city sued Cathcart and in a 3-2 vote accepted a settlement this week. They'll be holding $200,000 of the roughly $530,000 it owed the company for the project. That money will be going toward removing the bricks on 10th Street and replacing them with asphalt. But the bricks at the intersections are set to stay.
I actually like the look of the bricks, so I'm really disappointed that all this time, our business being affected, the company was supposed to get the job done in a certain amount of time. They did not honor that time. And so that impacted our business, and now we're kind of back to square one with it being paved. So I know people hate the bricks, but if it's done correctly, it would look beautiful.
The settlement also requires the company to remove any pictures of St. Cloud's project from their website. In St. Cloud, Megan Mulatto, West 2 News.
The work to take...
That's the problem, is that it wasn't done correctly. It's in, Cathcart, this is the problem. The city's still going to pay Cathcart. The city owed Cathcart $526,000. In this settlement, the city is still going to pay Cathcart $300,000 of that $526,000. They're going to keep $200,000 to supposedly remove the messed up bricks, but they said that might not cover all the costs, so they're going to use contingency funds.
Why is it that these guys, I can't help but think that these guys just sold out the citizens of St. Cloud. What are they thinking? How is it that you don't enforce Cathcart to pay on its own dime and go take all these bricks out? Or pay for the damages, which means they're going to pay for it to be paved. Why would they be giving back $300,000 and something?
Yeah.
prevailing fees. You think that Cathcart is going to sue you so that you have to pay them the rest of the money? I mean, what is it? I don't understand this. How is it? You know what I think happened? This is speculation. This is pure speculation. I'm not saying that this happened. I'm just saying that if this did happen, it would make more sense than what we're actually seeing. If Cathcart went to those elected officials over there in St. Cloud and said, you know what? If you guys don't pay us our damn money, minus a couple $100,000 out of the $10 million deal that this was, then I'm going to tell them all that we paid you guys kickbacks and you guys are going to go to jail. That would make sense.
Yeah.
That would make sense. But for city council members to actually roll over, right? To completely roll over and give Cathcart $300 and something thousand and keep $200,000, which isn't going to pay for the bricks to be removed. I mean, come on, this is crazy.
And the kicker, John, is they're not allowed to mention on their website Phase 1 or Phase 2 of the downtown revitalization project. And the real kicker is that Cathcart can come back and bid on future city projects.
Who in their right mind would have allowed this? Who? Okay, so Urban and Fletcher are the only ones that voted against this.
That's right. Blackwell, Matheny, and
why
Ken
would
Gilbert
Matheny vote for this? Why would Ken Gilbert vote for this? I don't understand. Ken Gilbert was supposedly this guy. Oh, well, I help community or whatever. How would you vote for this? How do you vote for it? No. This is. Come on. What lawyer does anybody know? What lawyer would have said this is a great deal for us?
Well, the problem, John, is that the city of St. Cloud does not truly have a city attorney.
But you don't need a city attorney. You don't need a full-time city attorney. That doesn't. I mean, that's no excuse.
If the city had a full-time city attorney,
no, the city pays for an attorney regardless.
Dedicated to the city of St. Cloud, but Dan Manzares, who acts as the city attorney.
Yeah, but if Dan Manzares was the attorney that you guys were paying full-time in St. Cloud to have as your full-time attorney, he's still the guy that negotiated this deal.
Right, exactly.
Right?
But he's also the attorney for other municipalities. So he also is the city attorney for 2 other cities. His full attention is not on the city of St. Cloud. He doesn't truly care. From what I've heard, he doesn't want to go to court, and from this settlement, obviously he doesn't want to go to court.
Here's the problem: if this guy is this bad of an attorney, right? Because this could be potentially. I'm not a lawyer, so this is not a legal statement. This is a citizen thing, all right? If this lawyer's so bad that he negotiated this deal on behalf of the city, then maybe his insurance should pay for it, right? Because attorneys get insurance also for their little malfeasance or misfeasance. And to me, this is a total malfeasance of, again, I'm not a lawyer, but this is just total horrendous botch up. Forget the job. The contract itself from the very beginning that led to this catastrophe. Now, the taxpayers are on the hook.
Yeah.
You paid how much? They paid $20 million in total for these streets.
Just about. Phase 2 was $10 million alone. Phase 1, I don't remember what the dollar amount was, but it was about the same. So yeah, about $20 million.
$20 million. Now they're going to rip it out. There are businesses that were closed in downtown St. Cloud over this, but now they're going to rip out the bricks and they're going to asphalt it. It's going to be back to square one. That's the most quintessential. It's the perfect wrap-up of the performance of the city councilmen of St. Cloud. It's perfect. It describes them perfectly. The scenario describes the council members of St. Cloud to the T.
Yeah.
To the T. I don't think that there's a better representation of their representation of the people.
Yeah. It's terrible, terrible. I am happy that Councilman Urban and Councilman Fletcher, voted against this. And Fletcher, I'll say this for him, we don't align politically, but he has kept a lot of his promises, especially to the people down by Hopkins Park. He's kept his promises to them. He's brought the fire when he's needed to that city council meeting, which I haven't seen since Chuck Cooper, R.I.P. Chuck. Chuck used to make those council meetings very entertaining. He'd bring the fire when he needed to, if he needed an answer, and he would call bull crap when he'd see it. So Fletcher, he hasn't been doing a bad job. I'll give him that.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Here's the thing. You got to drop bombs at some point when people are completely destroying your city.
Yeah.
So at least he has spoken up. A couple of times he's voted against, all right? But here's the problem. You can't serve two masters.
No.
You cannot serve two masters. Either you serve the people or you serve your personal relationships. And your personal relationships be damned when you're elected. You drop those because you take your hand, you swear an oath that you're going to represent the people and the Constitution of Florida. And you need to do that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'd love to see more from Fletcher to do that. You know, this is just...
I'd like to see more from all of them, especially the guy I ran against who said he was all about St. Cloud, that he was for the people. He's going to do all he can for the community.
Then you don't give up. Then you keep fighting.
But he's voted
Yep.
in contrast to that every time he's had a chance. I mean, I've seen a couple of times where he made sense, but a lot of times he opens his mouth and nothing makes sense that comes out of it. So anyway, let's move on.
Yep.
All right, so toll road over 60 acres of Central Florida conservation land, one step closer to reality, and we know what that is. That is Split Oak, and here's a picture of it, John. That yellow squiggly line in that picture, that is the toll road that CFX wants to build. They're really excited to do it. Central Florida Expressway Authority on Thursday moved forward with their plan for a new toll road through 60 acres of Split Oak Forest in Osceola County. On May 1st, the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commissioners voted 6-1 in favor of an agreement with the CFX Authority and Osceola County to release the 60 acres of Split Oak Forest conservation easements in exchange for 1,550 acres of bordering conservation land, part of a total package estimated at $66 million, John. And we know who the chairman of CFX is. CFX will provide funding to FWC to restore and manage over a 30-year period the 1,550 acres. So, yeah. This is Brandon Arrington's dream right here is this road, and it's going to happen.
Well, the worst part of this is that they took it to the voters, and 80% of the voters of Orange County said no. And Brandon Arrington and the rest of the county commissioners of Osceola County took our tax money and went to court and fought and fought and fought. And a deal was made. At some point, a deal was made somehow, some way to put this road there, and voters be damned. You're going to get that road whether you want it or not, even though it's in a place that you don't want. And we see this happening all over the place. And why toll roads everywhere?
You know, they didn't dare put it on the ballot here in Osceola County because they
would have
gotten
lost by
the same
98%.
result.
Yeah. It was they forget it. They wouldn't have. But they survive off of elections in Osceola County, so they didn't put it on the ballot.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys need to be recalled. These guys need to be recalled.
So, speaking of someone who needs to be recalled, one Kissimmee. I went too far there. All right, so one Kissimmee City Commissioner is proposing an affordable housing initiative. Learn all about it in this video right here.
Looking at new and unusual ways to increase affordable housing all around town.
Yeah, homeowners may soon be allowed to convert their garages into apartments. Fox 35's Manny Martinez is live in Kissimmee. So, Manny, this is still just an idea.
Yeah, important to stress that, Luann. Nothing official yet. A city commissioner brought it up as a way to just increase the number of affordable options here in the city. It relies on residents to pitch in by giving up some of their own space.
I thought about it and I said, there's something that we should be able to do.
That's City Commissioner Angela Eady presenting her idea. Willing homeowners outside of neighborhoods controlled by an HOA could let the city convert their two-car garages into a studio apartment for people in need. The idea drew the support from fellow commissioners who've seen struggling families.
Now living in the downtown area, the amount of vehicles with families that come late at night. I took my ring cam off the door. But it breaks my heart because I'm a mom.
Kissimmee isn't alone in facing a shortage of affordable housing. It's an issue across Central Florida and the country. According to Rent.com, the average one-bedroom apartment in the city goes for more than $1,600 a month, an average rate slightly higher than in ritzy Winter Park. By converting an old motel, the city is right now working to add more than 100 emergency or low-income units known as the Haven on Vine. Garage apartments or accessory dwelling units could potentially be another solution.
A lot of people
Move to Winter
this.
Park,
The
then.
city will have taken someone from homelessness. The homeowner that has accrued a large increase in their mortgage due to the increase in the insurance, they can win out of this. And then we've also provided shelter for someone that was in need.
Edie told me it's an idea she knows isn't for everyone.
And that's perfectly fine. But then there's some that has the heart that they want to be out there in the time of need.
I think that sounds pretty efficient, especially given it's very tough to get into a home today. I don't know that I would do it.
What if your neighbor did it?
I don't know that I would be thrilled about that.
The city says in a statement the idea will need to be evaluated to see if it is viable. We are considering adding the potential for homeowners to seek funding assistance to construct income-qualified accessory dwelling units to our line of housing assistance programs, which would have to be voted on by the city commission at a later date.
I feel like someone has to take a stance and say, look, we got to do something.
You're the city.
Yeah, just go ahead and open yourself up to liability, possible squatting. I mean,
This lady, what is? She says somebody has to be standing up for. She's a city commissioner. She's a city commissioner, and she's punting the ball back to the voter and saying, "Scoot over and let the homeless people into your garage." I mean, what are you, as a city commissioner, what are you supposed to be doing, right? It would be the city. So she wants to give you, they're still using taxpayer money for this, right?
Yep.
So they're going to give you money. They're going to give you taxpayer money to put it in your garage. Why would this burden go to if they're going to use taxpayer money, why would the burden go to the citizen? I mean, why don't they go build 100 tiny homes in all the land? Listen, you gave Brandon Arrington that place down there. What was it? The Osceola Arts down there for like $1 or something crazy like that. They gave him that deal. That could have been turned into a huge complex just for homeless people to transition with a bunch of tiny homes. I mean, you're going to expect the citizens to do that. What about the traffic?
Yeah.
So now you're going to increase, right? Because you already paid impact fees to build roads for the traffic, which you guys aren't even collecting as a county, right? In general. Now you're going to add twice as many homes in every house where people are already complaining that people park all over the street. There's not enough parking. People don't park in the garage. Now you want people to move them into and now you're going to be increasing the footprint of each home in a place where we're already spending 3 hours in traffic every day. So now you want to increase that? This is out of control. I don't understand. These people are just, they don't have an intention to solve the problem. What they have is, well, this person here is just, this is wackadoodle kind of stuff here. They have no idea what's going on. I mean, she probably, in the last December, we were talking about December where the GOP was fighting. This person last December was writing a letter to Santa Claus. She has no idea. She does not live in the realm of reality. Somebody might say, oh yeah, that sounds like very efficient, but there's nobody who's going to do that to their home. And what they're going to do is, you're going to have people that take advantage of the system. They're going to go, they're going to apply, they're going to get the money, they're going to let the person in, then they're going to kick them out, and they're going to keep the money and have the converted garage. And then where do those people go? So, I mean, it's just like, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, well, when you have crazy commissioners, that's what you get. You get more crazy. So, open yourself up for that. I mean, if they do this and you think it's a great thing for you, go for it. But just keep in mind the things that could happen that are not going to be so great.
I mean, you don't know these illegal aliens that would be moving into your garages. In many cases, are people who have not been vetted in any way, shape, or form. There's people who, you're going to take like somebody that Nicaragua let out of jail, and then they went all the way down to the United States and crossed over the border, and now you're going to let them into your home.
Didn't we talk about a guy who was on TikTok and he was promoting how to take over people's homes and take them away from people?
And then the squatting issue, right? Yeah. Thank God that we do have the governor we have, because at least he removed that squatting issue for most of Floridians. So
I think if we didn't have the governor we have right now, the city of Kissimmee, or Osceola County as a whole would become a sanctuary city.
Absolutely.
Or sanctuary county.
This would be a sanctuary county. This would be a sanctuary county 100%.
All right, John, so it's that time. All right, so why don't you walk us through what happened today?
Okay, do you have any videos or anything you're
No,
gonna show?
I have a picture of this guy. It's my favorite picture of him because he looks like he's about to kiss someone's ass.
Yeah, well, here's what happened. He might be doing something. That's a picture. That could be a picture of him in the whorehouse. So this guy that you see on the screen, his name is Mike Horner. He's a lobbyist. Okay. He was the former lobbyist of the school district of Osceola County. I was not happy with him. I was not happy with his work. And then somebody tipped me off that he was not registered or disclosing. Technically, he was not disclosing his contracts for this. He was not disclosing his contracts, which meant that he was not allowed to be the actual. According to the House rules, he was not allowed to be lobbying on behalf of the school district. I reported him. He didn't get in any trouble. Of course not, because Mike Horner gets away with everything, apparently. And then he got all mad. He started filing all these complaints against me over and over and over. He had his surrogates file complaints against me. He was all kinds of just harassing me and threatening me and trying to intimidate me. And then at the end of the day, he got kicked out of the school district. Finally, they did not approve his contract. He was getting paid $60,000 a year. He wasn't doing what his contract said he was supposed to be doing. So it felt great to get this guy, especially because a man who at one point, at least at one point, self-admittedly admitted it face-to-face with me, he supported the illegal sex trade. Yeah. Why? How could you have that person? How could you have that person as the lobbyist for the school district? Somebody who supported the illegal sex trade. He wasn't good enough to be the president of the chamber. He got removed from that job. He wasn't good enough to go out in public and be in the sunlight for anybody. But he's not good enough for politicians to be embracing him or holding him or being friends with him in public, right? Although all the dirty politicians in Osceola County are friends with him, right? But most politicians would never take a picture with this guy. But he's good enough to be the lobbyist for the Osceola County School District. What does that tell you? What does that tell you? So anyway, we got rid of him. And now there's been like this beef. He's always following me. He's always kind of chasing me down. He's always kind of like, apparently I'm living rent-free in his brain. So I go to a fundraiser for Andrew Bain, the Republican candidate for state attorney. I get there a little bit early so I can park my army truck, my big army truck out front, go park it, boom. I go inside, I ask, hey, do you know where the event is? They tell me, oh, it's in this room right here. I walk in, this is at Fat Boy's Barbecue in St. Cloud, okay? And that's going to matter in a minute because I'm very disappointed with the owners of Fat Boy's Barbecue in St. Cloud. Apparently, they'd rather have this guy who supported the illegal sex trade in their restaurant than a man who fights for his country and fights for his community.
It's sad.
So, sad. So then I go in immediately. There's only two people in the room. There's Mike Horner and there's some other gentleman who I've never seen. I take a few steps into the place and I see Mike Horner. We lock eyes. I chuckle. I literally chuckle. I clap my hands together and I actually chuckled, right? Laughed at the irony. But immediately, like in nanoseconds, I decide I'm gonna stay here. I came here for a reason. That's what I'm gonna do, which is to support Andrew Bain. And then I shake his hand even, I say, hey, Mike, how are you doing? And then I move on to the next person. I go, and I say, hey, how are you? My name's John Arguello. Introduce me. He said his name. I can't remember what his name, and I didn't hear him very well. I have terrible hearing. And then I go, and I'm walking back around to go find a seat. Mike says, who invited you here? And I said, the man himself, right? And when I said the man himself, I was talking about the man. Okay, I was saying about God. God invited me to come here, right? God invited me. God inspired me to be here today. So I go, to my seat. Like I'm heading to my seat. He says, nobody wants you here. Nobody wants you here. And then a couple of choice words. And I responded, Mike, there's 400,000 people in Osceola County that don't want the kind of guy that you are here in Osceola County. And then I keep walking to my seat. I decide where I'm going to sit down, which is right up at the front. And then he says, you're not wanted here. You're not wanted here. Get it. You need to leave. You're not wanted here. And I said, just a couple of choice words. No profanity. Nothing's a big deal here, whatever. But then when I'm sitting down, I sit down, and we're like in front of one another. I'm sitting here, he's sitting there. And Mike says, "You're not welcome here. I want you to leave. You need to leave here." And I cursed, and I said, "Mike, I don't give an F where you think I belong or should go or need to be or anything like that anyways." So, but it's funny to think that you think I care about what you think. And so then I think, you know what, I'm going to record a little video about being at the Andrew Bain thing, right? And I'm going to record a little video because since I got the time, right? I'm going to record a little video to say where I'm at. So I turn around, I record, and I said, "Who would have thought," right? Yeah. And right then, I can see him in the camera of my phone, right? Like I'm watching the screen of my phone doing this video. He jumps out of his chair, he comes around, and he attacks me. And play the video again. You have the video. You want to play the video again? So here's what happened. So that's the point, right? That's the whole thing. What happened? I have other videos. There's other videos. I have other videos that I took. I thought you already had it up. Did you play it at the very beginning?
Yeah, I did. But it has all that stuff on it. But I can cut through that. So we'll go back to that real quick. Hold on.
So that's what happened, right?
Actually, I'm going to add it to the thing so we can talk over it. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So what you're going to see, essentially, is me holding the phone over my shoulder, right? We'll play it. Holding the phone over my shoulder and starting to do a video on this event. And he loses his mind. And you'll see what happens. He loses his mind. Who would ever thought that an attorney general?
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Get the fuck! Don't video. What are you gonna do? You little shit! Don't.
We're working on it.
You have to remember who this guy is.
Who would ever thought that an attorney general?
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Don't video.
Basically,
You
pause
little
it
shit.
down for a second. So he comes. You want to put our little window up there? So, but here's what happens. So he comes around the table, right? And he tries to grab me, and he's like, grabs my collar, and we're like in this hustle and bustle here, you know, and I get out of the chair. I'm seated kind of when it happens, right? I see him. You can hear me saying, "Hey, what are you gonna do?" And what are you gonna do? What are you? It's Mike. You're a guy that is suspected of liking 13-year-old boys. I'm not too concerned with Mike trying to, not so worried at the moment. And I didn't think that he was going to put his hands on me, but his face was all contorting. He was all like angry and contorting. It's like even when I walked in the room, his face was like, it was like the demonic possession type of face. Like his face was just ticking, and going nuts. His face was, you could see just all these things going on back there.
Yeah.
So when he gets out of his seat and he attacks me, I get up out of my chair and he's kind of wrestling. He's trying to grab my phone. He grabs my wrist. He's like fighting, over the phone, trying to get my phone. And you kind of see it. And you can just play it one more time.
Don't video me. Do not video. Do not video me.
And then he goes again. Yeah. And then the phone turns off and. From the recording, and there's more video. I have plenty of more video on this issue, which we'll see, how we release that and whatever. But so this afternoon, I called a friend of mine and I said, "Listen, this just happened," and I was putting it on Facebook, and I called a friend of mine, Anthony Sabatini, and I said, "Hey, listen, I'm gonna
do not video."
You can play it. You
Do not video me.
Then an attorney general.
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Get the fuck, don't video me.
So
You
here's the
little
thing,
shit, don't video me.
you're not allowed to see Mike.
Don't video
once,
me.
right?
That's assault.
So you're not allowed to look at
video
a
me.
vampire in the eyeballs, apparently. He thinks he's Medusa. So, oh my gosh, you're gonna see, I'm just sitting there. And I wasn't doing anything. I wasn't trying to create a fight or nothing or create a problem. That was all him. He created that problem. And he attacked me, put his hands on me multiple times. There's, just a little bit of scratching and bruising and stuff like that kind of thing. So obviously he was making contact. That's battery, right? It's unassault. People consider it unassault, but it's battery. The crime that he committed was battery. And my attorney and I decided to file a lawsuit against Mike Warner. And so I've done that. That was fast, move fast, right? I'm not somebody, I'm not somebody that likes to mess around. I might probe, I might test, I might say whatever, I might decide that. But here's the thing. I'm not people don't consider me to be composed, but certainly I'm more composed than this guy who supports the illegal drug trade, at least at some point in his life.
Sex trade,
illegal sex trade. Thank you. And so here it is. This is the guy that controls. Now, here's the other thing I want to talk about. Who are the people that walked in that room?
Well, actually, we have that video too.
We have that video. So so you'll see. These are the people. Here's my question is now for Andrew Bain, for State Attorney Andrew Bain. And I said it in my other video. I don't think that he knew that this was happening. I don't think. I mean, I know that he knows that. I know that he had no idea what was going on there. But does he know who this guy is?
Yeah.
Would a state attorney step into a room to do a fundraiser with a lobbyist who supported the illegal sex trade? I don't believe that to be the case. I don't think Andrew Bain knows that he was being victimized himself by being put in this situation with all these dirtbags.
Yeah.
And here's who some of these dirtbags are. There's a bunch of private citizens in there or whatever. But anyways, you'll see in there, that's the former school board member, Tim Weishire, sitting next to him. And he's probably asking him, what the F did you do, Mike?
Yeah, we can see former city councilman Keith Trace is right there.
Mm-hmm.
There is Mayor Nathan Blackwell and Councilman Ken Gilbert. Ricky Booth is sitting across from Ken Gilbert.
Yep. So Ricky Booth walked in there like nothing. He was all, how he is. He's like a clown. So he walked in like if he was wearing clown shoes, like a total crazy person walking in.
Now, hold on. I'm going to back it up so that we can see everybody again. I want to pause it in a certain spot. All right. So the bald head next to Ricky Booth is Tony Busby, who's running for mayor of St. Cloud. Mm-hmm. The white-haired, white shirt fellow behind him, I believe, is the head of the snake.
No. That's
not the head of the snake?
No,
okay.
No.
All right.
Well, I mean, he's an active. We're not going to say that. We're going to put it like this. He's a very active gentleman who's in politics, and he makes contributions, and he's been involved for a very long time. And but he's up there. He's up there. He's there to donate money, obviously. This is his group. This is his posse.
Yeah.
Okay? People who donate money. There's a lot of people who were coming in and they were like, oh, I got invited to that, but I'm not going to go that with this guy there.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go there because this guy in the blue shirt is there, the guy who attacked me, the guy who supported the illegal sex trade. I'm not going to go where this guy goes.
And, I want people to keep in mind, we call him the kingmaker for a reason. Almost every single elected official in Osceola County has been blessed by this individual. And they're sitting in that
Who
seat
hasn't?
Because of this individual.
Who hasn't is the question.
Yeah.
Right? Who is not in that seat because of him? That's what I'd like to know. Who is not in that seat because of him? And so, I mean, that's what I would like to know. Who is not elected? I would love to see the elected officials come out. Number one, they should all condemn this behavior. Right? They should all condemn. Every elected official should condemn. And let me say this. If it had been me, if I had battered someone, if I had committed battery on any other person in that room,
you'd be in jail.
I would be in jail like this. I would be right now getting strip searched. It would be right now. I would be like getting they would be releasing my mugshot. They would be releasing my mugshot right now if that had been me. 100%. There's no doubt in my mind. Now, I did speak with the chief of police. The chief of police said, listen,
of St. Cloud.
Don't jump to conclusions. Don't jump to conclusions. We're doing everything that we're supposed to be doing. Don't jump to conclusions. So I'm going to give him that credit. I'm going to say, I was trying to reach out to him. He's like, listen, I'm trying to play catch up. This happened. Don't jump on the cops. We're trying to do the right thing, whatever. But I get that. And this is the cop's choice I've seen. But there's no doubt in my mind, there was a lieutenant there was a sergeant there were other officers there. And the fact that you have a video, you have the crime on tape. You have the crime on tape. There's no disputing the crime that occurred. So that guy should have been arrested. Yeah. He would have been arrested. And then they were like, oh, well, there's reasons. No, there's one reason that he was not arrested. And that one reason is a big bucket of bull crap that was in that room, Ricky Booth and all those elected officials in there that were protecting him. How is it that a crime is committed in the same room where the mayor and a councilman and a mayor candidate are in, and then they decide that they're not going to arrest the perpetrator of the crime? How does that happen? So I don't know. I'm not going to pass judgment. They don't know. They may not have known what was going on at all. Right? They may not have known after the fact even, because nobody was there in that room. There was only 2 people in that room besides myself when it happened. So maybe they don't know at all what happened. But when the police came in to interview Mike and to get Mike's side of the story and whatever, I'm sure everybody was talking about what happened. Right? And so Mike could have been lying or whatever, but the fact is that mayor should have been like, hey, chief of police, I know that all the politicians are in this room. Please do the good job, do the right thing, and so on. But they didn't want to arrest him. And then my question is, Andrew Bain. I want Andrew Bain. I would expect that Andrew Bain would distance himself from these people. Now that you see that they're a bunch of thugs, all right? Distance yourself from these thugs. Distance yourself from these thugs, because that's what Mike Horner is. Now he's not only an intimidator of politicians, he's not only a buyer of politicians, now he's nothing but a straight thug trying to intimidate an elected official. And one of the video clips, I say something. Well, I'm not going to repeat it here. But the problem is that this guy is a real creep.
Yeah.
And anybody who's involved with him is a creep by association. You have to be a creep to be involved with him, in my opinion. And I hope and pray that people are enlightened. That now you see the true colors of this animal. That he's not trustworthy. He's obviously not trustworthy with any level of responsibility, and he should be. Absolutely. I am expecting his mugshot. Yeah. I'm expecting his mugshot.
That'd be nice. That would be nice. Somehow this man has kept his political capital, despite the fact he had to resign in disgrace after his name came up in a sting of a brothel. And that's not coming from me. That's from Channel 9. That's from the Orlando Sentinel. You can go online. You can Google it. You can look him up. You'll see. Somehow he's kept that political capital. There are politicians that protect him. It's just a sad situation here in Osceola County. And when this man is not running things, when he's not picking and choosing winners when it comes to politicians, it'll be a better day in Osceola County.
Let's talk about the restaurant now. Well, here's what happened afterwards, right? So this happens. There's a lady. The owner comes out. It's a woman. The woman who owns Fat Boys comes out, and she's like, "Listen, we want you to leave, whatever." And I said, "Listen, I just so that you know what's going on here, I'm the victim. I was sitting in a chair not doing anything. I was invited to the event. It was a public event, open to the public, to anyone. And invitations were all over the internet. I was there as an elected official to support the Republicans."
It was all over the internet.
So I'm sitting in my chair. I was, this guy assaulted me. He battered me. And then whatever. So this lady, but she says, "Oh no, I want you and whatever." They kicked me out of the restaurant, and then she has me trespassed for being a victim of a crime in her restaurant. For being the victim of a crime in her restaurant, she has me trespassed. That is the type of institution that Fat Boys Barbecue is on St. Cloud. So listen, I don't know. I'll never eat there. I'll never get another dime of my money. They'll never see anything. And if they support these people who supported the illegal sex trade, if they're not offended by the illegal sex trade, by the sex trade, the illegal sex trade that traffics minors, and that it's a gigantic problem in this state, then that's where you want to go have barbecue then, apparently. A place that is not offended by that kicks out the victim of a crime. If somebody with a gun had come in and they robbed somebody, right, in that store, if they had robbed somebody in that restaurant, they're going to kick out the person who's the victim instead of the person who's holding the gun and robbing somebody. There's that logic of the owners of Fat Boys, and I can't wait to hear what they say about why they would do this or what. Somebody just said it's a terrible place to eat anyways. Well, if you haven't eaten there, don't bother. I don't know why the hell I was there anyways. I should have went to Grandma's instead. You know, not
Granny's.
Granny's, yeah. I mean, this is just this is a terrible group of people here. You're talking about what people's motives are. I don't know.
Horner claimed that he put this fundraiser together for Andrew Bain.
He claimed that this was his fundraiser. So if somebody says, "Hey, John, I want to throw a fundraiser for you," I'm gonna know who that person is. Yeah. I would not. I guarantee you, if Mike Horner said, "You know what? I'm going to throw a fundraiser. Let me bring Ricky Booth and all of these people." And I'd be like, hell to the no, nth power. No. Hell no. Hell no.
We learned the other night when you did your town hall forum that Ricky Booth and Fred Hawkins said they would not endorse you or your opponent.
A Republican. Ricky Booth and Fred Hawkins were working for the Democrat.
They would vote for Kristen Arrington. And of course they would. We know that already.
Yeah, because they're all together.
Yeah.
And Ricky Booth is not a real Republican.
It's the Osceola County Uniparty.
Yep. So that is the show, right?
Yep, it is.
Listen, God bless you. Thank you for sticking with us. I appreciate your guys' support. I appreciate how you have stuck by me for the 3 years. There's no way that somebody can do the right thing without the support of the community when you're facing a monster like these monsters. Yeah. So I can't tell you how much I appreciate you. I appreciate your love. I appreciate how you guys have been just there with me the entire time. You have no idea how many times people have stopped. They've prayed with me. They tell me what's going on. They're the ones that give me the information that I need to make a difference. And I just want to tell you how much I appreciate it. So thank you. God bless you. We'll see you next week on the next show. And listen, if you're interested in attending the call, tonight we're going to have a call on how to fix the Republican Party, a Zoom call. Let me know. Send me a message. Send me a message on Facebook. I'll send you the link and you can get on. And we're going to resolve this problem, fix our party once and for all, and take this county back from all the dirty, corrupt politicians that think that they can push you around. And if something like this happened to me, it will absolutely happen to just any other citizen, right? Another citizen who's not going to fight or be loud, who's not going to call the cops. He could have pushed you down. He could have assaulted you. He could have battered you. And then they would have arrested you for it, right? But because I had it on video, I saved myself. Otherwise, even I would have been arrested for this. No. So thank you. God bless you. Take care. You're all in my prayers. And I appreciate all you guys.
We'll see
Until
you
next time.
Week.
Just like and share.